Let's talk about USC. USC is a little bit more kind of difficult aspect of your financial maths. Before we dive into the question, let's have a look at this table and understand how it works. So here, what that means when they are saying first 12,012, that means if somebody is earning from 0 to 12,012, he will pay 0.5% of the tax. But then if we add up to it next 10,000, so if somebody is earning up to 22,920, so anything between 0 and that 22,920, that person will be taxed at 0.5, and then the other part will be taxed at 2%. And then when we add up the last bracket, up to, we're going to end up with 70,044. So if somebody is earning, let's say, I don't know, 50,000, he's going to be in this bracket, and in this bracket, and in this bracket, but he will not cross that the third bracket. Why? Because he's earning less than 70,000. But anyway, let's have a look at this particular question. So John earns 49,572. That means he is in the first bracket because he earns between 0 and 12,000. Then he is in the next bracket because next bracket will reach up to 22,000. So he is there. And then he will have some left over in the last one because he is more than 22,000. So he's 49,572 is taxed in, how will I say, in groups. Okay, so you cut off the first group, 12,012 euros. So by the way, here we have to calculate his USC charge. So on that first 12,012 euro, we multiply that by 0.5%, or if we want to change that to a decimal, that will be actually 0.005, and we put that in the calculator and we get that is 60.06. Then we slice another slice from his wages, and that slice, that's what they are saying, that's that next 10,908. So we take again that 10,908, and this time we multiply by 2% or 0.02. And again, we put that in the calculator and we get 218.16. And then we are going to the last bracket. So whatever is remaining. So how do we find the remaining one? So out of 49,572, we already taxed 12,000. We already taxed next 10,908. So we take away those two. And whatever will be left over, now we're going to be multiplying by the last percentage, 4% or 0.04. And again, we put that in the calculator and we get 1,066.2. Now we have to find the full amount. So now we just have to add up those three values. We put them in the calculator, we press equal, and we get 1,344.3. So that's the first part. Now let's look at the next part of this question, which is a little bit more difficult. Let's see. John gets a pay rise. He pays tax at 40% and USC at 4% on this extra income. His net salary increased by 1,400 per year after tax and USC are deducted. Find his gross pay rise. So this is about the pay rise. So let's analyze that. So he has a pay rise. So let's write pay rise. Now he pays tax on it. So we understand that normally the way it works, from the gross amount, we will take the tax and therefore we get the net amount. So what are the taxes here from this gross of his pay rise? So 40%. So from that, we're going to deduct. We will take our pay rise. and we multiply that by 40% or 0.4. And then there is another tax. So we again going to take away, now this time USC is at 4%. So again, we take pay rise and we multiply that by 0.04 this time. So that's one tax, the other tax. And then we are told that his net salary increase. So after the net salary, after the tax are collected, is 1,400. So 1,000, so that calculation will equal 1,400. So the difficult part here is creating this equation. And there is no formula, really. We have to read it and we have to change it to an equation. But the idea is that gross, minus, and all of those are the taxes that I am taking away in order to get the net value. Okay, so now I'm just going to rewrite that. Let's say that the pay rise, we're going to represent pay rise as an x value. So that means we will have x minus x multiplied by 0.4, so that's just 0.4x, and then minus, and again x multiplied by 0.4 will be 0.04x. Oh, I don't know what happened with this 4 here. And that equal 1,400. So how many together, if I add x is 1 minus 0.4 minus 0.04, we put that in the calculator, and what do we get? 0.56 of x equal 1,400. Now we want the value of x, not x multiplied by a number. So to eliminate multiplication, we divide, and we divide both sides of the equation. In this case, 0.56. We put then our fraction 1,400 divided by 0.56 in our calculator, press equal, and we get that the pay rise is actually 2,500.